Many think and even many talk about changing the world. In the present turbulent times of failing governments, collapsing economies, climate change, and rising risks and insecurities, it becomes near imaginary to think of a better world. The analogy of a breaking lustrous dawn after dusk could not be more correct for a silent revolution that began with the coming up of the Institute of Directors, IOD, in 1990. The institute, established with the vision of its founder, Dr. Madhav Mehra, has in the last 22 years grown manifold, bringing to light and finding resolve to some of the most pressing issues related to boardroom practices, quality, governance, sustainability, environment, and the development agenda that many groups and organizations now talk about.
The whole idea of total quality control was actually mooted by Dr. Madhav Mehra. This concept was never present in corporate life until Dr. Mehra first brought it into being. It was 19 years ago that Dr. Mehra actually thought of this idea that there must be quality control so far as management of the corporate life is concerned.
IOD has since grown to associate with more than 30,000 senior executives representing prominent organizations from the private and government worldwide. IOD was the first to think of enhancing governance and sustainability through a constructive engagement focusing on a principle-based model of corporate governance that values 7 Ds: disruption of status quo, dispersal of authority, diversity, dissent, dialogue, disclosure, and directors' training to craft the boards to lead the change and encourages integrity, transparency, and accountability as the competitive differentiator.
I think these are very interesting, at the same time very terrible times, and we are poised on the brink of a new civilization. It is the finest hour of the industry, of the corporates, that they grow up in a hurry and find out what they could really contribute to the resolutions to the irresolvable issues of man's destiny. This is a very, very significant period. I think it's a great challenge.
Every year, IOD holds various conferences on a diverse range of subjects from corporate governance, quality management, competition policy, CSR, environment, and climate change as a way to reach out to the change makers. IOD forums have transformed the corporate psyche by demonstrating how ethical, responsible, transparent, and equitable agenda has become the competitive differentiator and has redefined sustainability.
Very few organizations bring the managers in public sector and private sector together and to discuss issues of common interest. Today, for example, we discussed the issue of corporate governance in public-private partnership mode, and that itself is an emerging but very important challenge for the country. And such other issues which are being taken up by IOD are really appreciable.
My association with the Institute of Directors has given a new insight with regard to the intricacies involved in managing a corporation.
The networking and extended dialogue opportunities that its international conferences held in India and abroad provide to the entire fraternity of business, industry and governments are valued most by the participants.
I've seen the IOD grow over this time. I've always been impressed by the quality of people it gets together, the people who speak at its conferences, the people who sponsor and support the IOD, and the varied backgrounds that they come from. I'm also really pleased to see the focus on very critical issues for business, such as sustainability and good corporate governance, and obviously quality.
One of the prime initiatives of IOD has been the institution of Golden Peacock Awards, which have become the hallmark of excellence globally. Based on internationally recognized criteria, the credibility of these awards lies in the depth and impartiality of the assessment process. No other business award today receives the kind of recognition and adulation among peers that the Golden Peacock does. Justice P.N. Bhagwati, former Chief Justice of India and acting chairman, UN Human Rights Committee, is the chairman of the Golden Peacock Awards Committee. The award applications are assessed at 3 levels, initially by independent assessors and finally by a grand jury. The global awards are finalized by a jury headed by Dr. Ola Ullsten, former Prime Minister of Sweden. These most prestigious and coveted awards hold enormous significance for bringing about best practices-based competition among the industries, ushering them into excellence.
I must congratulate the awardees here because, it is achieved, by you with much affection, admiration, adulation from business and industry. Golden Peacock Awards, I am told, have become the most sought after badge of excellence.
When you apply to the IOD, you have to first benchmark yourself. And when the IOD decides that yes, so-and-so organization should be awarded, I think it's a responsibility on the organization to prove that what they are saying that they deliver. And I think through this Golden Peacock Award, through the recognition of the individuals, they are probably passing on the responsibilities on the corporate world, that the corporate world has to deliver, corporate world has to prove themselves. I appreciate all the initiatives of the IOD and would appeal and call upon all the corporates to please get associated.
The awards are now given for quality, environment, innovation, training, governance, CSR, sustainability, and have become the benchmarks for corporate excellence, attracting thousands of applications including those from some of the top Fortune 500 companies. The President's Estate in India has recently been the proud recipient of the Golden Peacock Awards for Environment Management. IOD India's Masterclass for Directors covers the training for corporate directorship to raise the standards of India's boardroom functioning. It is an intense 3-day masterclass program that prepares participants to become independent directors of listed companies. From the personal development of directors, IOD has now embraced boardroom development as a whole for organization-wide transformation.
I would say that the Institute of Directors is one of the finest organizations that I have seen. I think its major strength lies in the fact that it has a really well thought out learning program for independent directors. This is the only organization that I know which has such a comprehensive course for independent directors. And because of that, independent directors who have come on board are able to function very well and contribute in a significant way to the way in which companies are governed.
The new company bill clearly lays down the mandate of having a minimum of 33% independent directors on each company board. This presses the urgency for trained and certified independent directors, ensuring candor, transparency, equity, accountability, integrity, and social responsibility in corporate decision-making.
Corporate governance is an issue which interests all of us now, particularly in view of a number of companies having gone bust, where the investors' money has been misutilized, and we wonder how the structures which are supposed to prevent that are all not working properly. So it's high time that we change the procedures and also ensure that the legislation itself is changed in a manner so that there is more transparency and independent directors on the board are truly independent and they act as watchdogs for the common man, the stakeholders as well as the shareholders. IOD is doing a tremendous job in terms of conscientization of the people by training programs and recognizing people who have done tremendous work in this area, and I'm sure that IOD is making a difference, will continue to make a difference in future.
It has been a privilege attending this master class for independent directors. IOD has been functioning for 23 years and has done tremendous work in this field. There is an authorized institution which can train these independent directors.
IOD has by now trained over thousands of senior corporate executives through hundreds of courses, workshops, seminars and conferences organized globally on management, governance, environment and leadership.
What we are now planning to do during the next 2 years is to focus on subjects like fraud analysis, management of fraud, risk management, the company law, new company law which is coming up, areas of this nature, and we are organizing one-day programs in 26 major countries, major cities in the country over the next 1 year. This is where we want to spread the word, we want to enlighten everybody as to what these areas are asking for, what we need to be prepared for in the future, and we shall meet the requirement of the board as far as these aspects are concerned. I'm sure we will be able to ensure that our boardroom are not sitting idly, and that we are able to raise the bar, raise the standards and the quality of our boardroom function.
IOD has pluralistically impacted where the change for betterment emanates from. It stands as an unparalleled catalyst in the process of innovation and leadership to face the turbulent business of tomorrow's world.
But the only way you do it is to start with yourself. Why not me? Let's begin with me. So if you start, you are the leader. You start, you become the change that you see in others.
This ability to successfully drive and deliver the change agenda is what sets IOD apart.